And we're talking with Justin Peck from QONQR. Justin, well, first of all, tell us who you are.
My name is Justin Peck. I'm one of the co-founders of QONQR. That's QONQR, the geosocial game of world domination.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So tell us a bit about QONQR. How do you play it?
Sure. So QONQR is essentially a cross-platform, massively multiplayer version of Risk, but played out over the face of the Earth. The game world is our actual world, and the battle zones that you're fighting for control of are the places where you live and work. And so the game story is that there's this artificial intelligence. Nobody knows if it's good or evil. It's just emerged on the internet, and so everyone is kind of split into three factions. The Legion thinks that it's Skynet and it's out to enslave humanity. It needs to be destroyed. Okay. And the Swarm thinks that it's beneficial. It's going to bring about singularity. It needs to be defended. And there's a third faction of militant hackers. They don't care if it's good or evil. They just want to take it. So, yeah.
That sounds like my team.
It's been very popular here at South by. So yeah, you join one of those factions, and then you start capturing zones by deploying nanobot swarms into those zones. If your faction has the most nanobots in a zone, then you control that zone, and you can build bases there and harvest resources and get upgrades. This kind of thing. Battle for the control of the Earth.
Okay, so let's say the area around my house. All right. So does it work like the longer I stick around that area, the more nanobots I'll have there, or the more currency or whatever it is I'd be able to use to deploy more nanobots?
It's kind of, yes. It's not a passive thing. You actively deploy nanobots, but the longer you stay somewhere, the more times you can do that. Your mobile device can only generate so many nanobots in a given amount of time, so you might be able to deploy 3 or 4 times before you've run out of bots and you need to wait for it to recharge. And then if you have a base there, that does harvest resources passively. You just need to go back to actively collect those resources.
Okay. And let's see now, is there any way for people to kind of form alliances or factions or things like that?
Yeah, so there is the 3 main factions, and so when you play, you're playing as a part of one of those 3 factions.
Right.
So it's in your faction's best interest that you continue to deploy nanobots to defend the zones that they control, because the other factions, the players on other factions, are trying to seize them back from you.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, gameplay element plus bits of the real world as well.
Right.
So yeah, Risk in the real world. I like that.
Put the game back in location-based gaming.
Nice. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about the underlying technology.
Sure. We're running on the Microsoft stack. The back end is Azure. We're hosted in Azure, and we're actually using SQL Azure for the storage. We will eventually be using blob and table storage there, but we're in a limited beta right now, and
okay.
We're all relational database guys, so we did what we knew.
Sure, makes sense.
We'll transition to table storage for scalability coming soon. So on Azure, we're running ASP.NET MVC2.
All right.
And then the front end is right now a mobile web app, so it's HTML5 and jQuery.
Okay, so when the mobile web, when HTML5 support comes to Windows Phone, which should be with the major update later on this year, looking greatly forward to that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, then we'll be able to play QONQR on Windows Phone 7. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we do have a native WinPhone 7 client coming as well.
Okay.
Yep, that's on the way.
Earlier you told me about how QONQR got started, how you got the project started. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got it off the ground?
Yeah, totally. It's kind of a fun story. So there are these things called startup weekends. They happen all over the world. And the basic premise is that a bunch of people get together and anyone can pitch an idea for a company or a product. And then everybody votes, and you pick, the top, 10 or 15 of the 100 that got pitched. And then everybody forms teams just kind of randomly. People kind of coalesce or, split up into people who need developers they'll find developers, or designers will move to teams that need designers. Just teams sort of form. And then you have 48 hours, basically, to build an entire working prototype and business case and demo it for tech investors and local, business dignitaries, basically. It was so much fun, and we were the winner of the first Twin Cities Startup Weekend in September.
Wow.
We built it in 48 hours. We built it was a simple version of this app.
Right.
It was functional. We used Silverlight, which was what made it great. We had Silverlight on top of Bing Maps. And so when we did the demo, we had pins on the map, and they would spin up and show which faction had control of it. The bars shifting height.
Right.
And people in the audience were actually deploying nanobots and changing the bar height on the projected screen. So it was a pretty killer demo that we were able to pull together in about 48 hours.
But you got that much working in a weekend. That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah, it was
okay.
insane. And the killer thing was that we took those assets, because it was Silverlight, and dropped them onto the WinPhone 7, and we were able to get that same demo working in like an hour and a half. It was crazy. There was differences in the map namespaces. Otherwise, it was basically, we dropped it in and it worked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now BizSpark.
Yep. We are a BizSpark company. That's been hugely helpful for us. Getting access to the tools and the licenses that we need to do this. We're a bootstrap startup, so we're paying this all out of our pockets, working nights and weekends, and so BizSpark has helped us out quite a bit there.
Okay. By the way, I don't know, are you eligible for the Dev Unplugged contest?
I don't know.
Actually, we need to find out about that, Dev Unplugged contest, because, I don't think there's any restriction on you having to start at a specific time. But, if your game runs on HTML5, yeah, you should submit it.
Okay, cool. Definitely.
Okay. And speaking of, so you were at I saw you at the IE9 party last night.
Yeah.
With Yaysayer, great whole bunch. And Head in the Heart and Fences, great bands. And
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Can't complain about the open bar either. But
Not at all.
So have you taken IE9 out for a spin yet?
I've been using it in beta for quite a while. It's great. Very fast.
Okay, and of course the geolocation is going to be really helpful in your geolocated base game. Yeah?
Exactly. That's going to be a huge for us, is being able to actually pull the geoloc out of the browser.
Yeah, and for those of you watching this on the interwebs, don't forget, you can get it at www.beautyoftheweb.ca or .com, but I'd rather you get it from .ca. Be a good Canadian. But yeah. Okay, Justin, any final words? Anything you'd like to say?
I'll just say, we're pretty excited about this kind of revolution in gaming, where games kind of spill out in an actual game map on top of the real world. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in this space, and we're happy and proud to be a Startup Weekend and Microsoft partner. So.
Absolutely, and it's great that you actually have made a game that gets people out of the house.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be we should partner you guys up with Xbox Live so we can give people the got out of the house achievement.
The off the couch award.
Yes. By the way, one more time, because unusual spelling. It makes a lot of sense, in the age of Flickr and things like that. QONQR.
Yes.
QONQR.com.
.com.
All right. Justin Peck, thank you very much.
Thanks.